Hi everyone, Nancy with our treasure home, and welcome to Bible Time with me, Day 8 in the study of Proverbs. So, this time he used the New King James Version. So Joel uses different versions in this book, which I think is interesting because then, it breaks it down to how we can understand. And I'm really enjoying this because I'm just like, it fills my spirit with, that peace and joy that you always long for and give you that hunger and thirst to know Lord more. And then when you find some goodness or that nugget that you just love, that you just gotta share it. Just got to share it because it's so good. So day 8 is Proverbs 8, chapter 8, verse 32 through 35. And it says, "Now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. Whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord." What a powerful message. So the Amplified is, "Now therefore listen to me, O you sons, for blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied, are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not refuse it or neglect it. Blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoever finds me, which is wisdom, which is God and Jesus, finds life and draws forth and obtains favor from the Lord." So, what a promise! That is a beautiful promise. You know, God telling us that when we search and we find him and we keep seeking him, and we are going to be blessed and favored. So, you know, it's so simple yet so complicated because we make things complicated. God made it simple. Simple as, to seek him and find him. Because we'll be happy. We're going to find that happiness and that joy and that peace. And when we seek him, whatever you're going through, when we seek the wisdom that he talks about, take a verse and break it down, whatever verse and see what God has to say. So here he says, "Now therefore listen to me, O you sons, for blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied." Wow. When we seek Jesus and we seek his wisdom and his love and his grace, we're not going to be blessed and favored. We're going to be envied by other people. Can you imagine that? Yeah, I can, because I see it. I have seen that. I have seen when people see that you are favored, it's things that just, doors open up for you and everything else. I mean, it's jealousy. I've seen family get jealous because good things happened and everything, and they just couldn't understand it, because I didn't deserve it because I was the black sheep of the family, And I think God he says he will use the weak to confound the wise. So, you know, even when things don't look good, or whether it's health or mentally or emotionally, physically, legally, or whatever you're struggling with, don't keep looking at having learning this. Don't keep looking at that. Don't look at the problem. Look at Jesus, because that's what he wants you to do. Keep your eye off the storm and look at him. Because then, when you start learning, he tells us, he's promised us that we keep seeking him and seeking his wisdom right here in these verses, that you're going to be blessed and favored. You're going to be envied by people. And that kind of something excited to be about. Because, we think of Hollywood stars, you envy, you jealous because they're so rich and famous and everything else. But what about the mom that has a stay-at-home mom, or Joseph Prince uses these people as examples. A janitor, so does Joyce. Everyday people, you go to work, the warehouse worker or the secretary and everything. And then you come in and you go to work and, hey, I gotta tell you what happened to me today. Or, what happened, we got blessed with this, and this. And they'll just look at you like, you don't make that much money. How'd you get that? See, God will confuse them like you wouldn't believe, because God will open those doors. We need to seek Him and keep looking for His wisdom. Well, wisdom comes, like I said, in that little whisper. We gotta get quiet and listen and seek to hear God's voice. And it says, blessed is the man who listens to me. Oh, that little nudge. Don't forget that little nudge, or that little gut feeling is what we used to call it. They say, listen to your gut. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Didn't know that that's the Holy Spirit living in you saying, hey, if you don't have peace about it, then don't do it. And yes, I am preaching to myself. If you don't have peace about something, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And then, just listen to the Holy Spirit. So, and then if He does give you peace about doing something, make sure, you just give it some time. If someone's trying to push you to do something, just tell them, no, I'm waiting for the Lord, and that's okay. If they can't wait, then that's on them. So, but I was like, I really have never sat down and read through the Bible or, taken different verses and study them, diligently. But I am now. So, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was like, I remember my mom reading the Bible. Did she understand it? I have no idea. But I know she always quoted verses to us all the time. So now it's like, as I've gotten older, I have studied different things throughout my life, but now I feel like God's like, you're going to sit down, and this is what you're going to do, and this is what you're going to study, so you can talk to others about me. And I honestly believe that because of my physical mobility. I can now do what the Lord has called me to do. So, today, we're going to listen because we are His children and we are blessed with it to keep His ways. We're going to hear His instruction and not disregard it. Disdain. Now, what does disdain mean? Oh, I can tell you what disdain means without looking it up. Well, I'm going to look it up. So, disdain. Feeling that someone or something is unworthy of one's consideration or respect. Contempt. Considered to be unworthy. Alright. So, disdain. Alright. We'll take Grandma and Grandpa for an instance. Growing up, those words of wisdom they would tell us all the time, and that looked like, oh, not again. This disdain. Did you really just don't want to listen? So to look with scorn, to refuse or abstain from because of a feeling of contempt or scorn, to treat as beneath one's notice or dignity. So disdain. To me, that's the most easiest way, because my grandmother used to do that. She'd come and over to help clean, and then she'd start preaching, and we just had to sit down like, really, do we have to listen to this? But, we miss those days now. And, when she passed away, we sure wish she was still around. And that was back in 1990 when she passed away. But we did miss those days. So that's what God's talking about. Don't disdain and do not, don't disregard it. Don't make it less than what it is. So he tells us, blessed is the man who listens to me and watching daily at my gates and waiting at the post of my doors. So we are to watching, to my understanding, watching daily at my gates, watching daily for him, looking for him, and waiting for him at the doorpost to show up, to do something for you or through you to help somebody else. And then he says, whoever finds me finds life. And Solomon talks about that also, speak life and not death. So when we find Jesus, not only we find life, we also find favor. And God's favor is so much more than anything else, because he can open doors, he can do things that we cannot see. So, now Joel says, you may be struggling in a certain area, all through the day, say, God, I need your help. I can't do this by myself. I'm asking for your strength. When you humble yourself, you admit that you can't do it on your own. That's when God can elevate you. That's when he can change the situation. Dependency on him is not a weakness. It is strength. It activates his power. So, if you're going through something, you don't know what to do, the best advice I ever heard was from Joyce Meyer. Trust God and do good. Give it to him. Yes, you can think about it, but don't dwell on it. Okay, Lord, it came to my mind. I know you got it under control. You are fighting my battles. Say it. Say these verses that he gave you these to say and claim over you. And he said his word will not return void. He tells us Joshua to speak his word. So, find a verse, memorize it, say it, and say something over yourself today. So, if you haven't, like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time on Our Treasure Home.